Suri Cruise has just turned 18, and the world is watching. For most of her life, she's been surrounded by fame, mystery, and rumors. As the only biological child of Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, two of Hollywood's biggest names, Suri grew up in the spotlight before she could even walk. But now, as she becomes an adult, Suri is finally ready to speak for herself. People have always wondered what her life has really been like. Was she close to her father? What's her relationship with Scientology? And why has she been kept so far from Hollywood for all these years? Suri was born on April 18, 2006, at St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica, California. Her birth date wasn't just another day. It happened exactly 1 year after Tom and Katie's first date on top of the Eiffel Tower. That timing felt symbolic, like something out of a romantic movie. From the very start, her life was tied to big stories and dramatic events. Her birth was one of the most talked about events in Hollywood. Tabloids couldn't get enough of her. Paparazzi followed her and her parents everywhere, especially around New York City, where they often lived. She became one of the most photographed celebrity kids of all time. At the time of her birth, Tom Cruise was everywhere. He was riding high, with the success of Mission Impossible 3. Katie Holmes was known and loved for her role in Dawson's Creek. Their relationship felt like a Hollywood fairy tale. Their engagement happened at the Eiffel Tower. Their wedding later took place in a real castle in Italy. And in the middle of it all, there was baby Suri, the face of their love story. But behind the headlines, there were tensions, secrets, and choices that would shape Suri's future. There was even a strange coincidence involving another famous child. Suri shares her birthday and birth hospital with Greer Henchy, the daughter of actress Brooke Shields. This wouldn't be a big deal, except for the fact that Tom Cruise had made headlines just a year earlier for publicly criticizing Brooke. He had attacked her for using antidepressants after giving birth, claiming they went against the beliefs of Scientology. It became a very public feud. But later, in a surprising turn, Brooke Shields showed up at Tom and Katie's wedding, as if the past had been forgiven. The shared birthday of their daughters felt like an odd twist in a very Hollywood story. Tom and Katie didn't choose the name Suri by accident. It had meaning in different cultures. In Persian, it means red rose, a symbol of beauty and love. In Hebrew, it means princess, which brings ideas of grace and royalty. It was a name chosen with care, full of meaning and emotion. They wanted her name to reflect the life they hoped she would have, something unique, beautiful, and full of promise. But things didn't stay magical for long. Tom Cruise already had 2 adopted children from his previous marriage to actress Nicole Kidman, Isabella and Connor. Those 2 were raised within the Church of Scientology, and they've remained close to the church ever since. But Suri's story went in a completely different direction. After Katie and Tom's very public and shocking divorce in 2012, Katie took full custody of Suri. From that moment, Katie made a clear decision. Suri would be raised outside the church. That choice caused a huge rift between Tom's different families and put even more attention on Suri's future. Tom's belief in Scientology has been strong for decades. It affects nearly everything in his life, his work, his relationships, and even his marriage. When he and Katie got married in November 2006, it wasn't just a wedding. It was a grand religious event held in a castle in Italy. Many famous faces were there: David and Victoria Beckham, Jennifer Lopez, Will Smith, and even Brooke Shields. But behind the glamour, there was more happening. What many people didn't know was that Tom and Katie had already been married quietly in a civil ceremony in Los Angeles. The big wedding in Italy was mostly for religious reasons, done in the Scientology tradition. For Tom, it was a spiritual moment. For Katie, raised Catholic, it was more complicated. Before marrying Tom, Katie even went through Scientology training. This made many people wonder how much control the church had over her life. Some believed it was a major influence on the relationship. But after the split, Katie acted fast. She took Suri and moved to New York City. There, she tried to build a quieter life, far from the flashing cameras and the church's reach. She didn't want her daughter to grow up in that world. She wanted her to have a normal childhood, or at least as normal as possible for someone, with famous parents. In interviews over the years, Katie has talked about her love for being a mother. She said it changed her in every way, teaching her patience, strength, and how to protect someone no matter what. She once said she just wanted Suri to grow up feeling safe, supported, and loved. She didn't flood social media with pictures or turn her daughter into a public figure. Instead, she focused on school, friends, hobbies, and building a strong bond with her daughter. That decision may have been the most important one she's ever made. Despite Katie's best efforts, the influence of Scientology was always a shadow hanging over their lives. People whispered about what could have happened if Katie hadn't acted when she did. There were reports that Tom wanted Suri to be raised in the church, and that she might have even been sent to one of Scientology's secretive training centers, like the Sea Org ship. This ship is known for its strict religious education and harsh rules, even for children. Some believed Katie feared losing contact with her daughter entirely if she didn't act fast. That's why the way Katie handled the divorce was so important. She didn't file in California, where Tom had more influence. She filed in New York, where the courts were more likely to give her full custody. Everything about the filing was quiet and sudden, which made many believe she planned it carefully, to avoid interference. By doing this, she managed to get legal control over Suri's life and cut off the church's access to her. It was a bold move, and one that worked. Since then, Katie and Suri have built a very different kind of life in Manhattan. It's not about red carpets or Hollywood parties. It's about dance classes, Broadway shows, and quiet walks in the park. They're often seen together, just the two of them, enjoying the city like any regular family. Photos of them laughing, holding hands, or shopping together have become a familiar sight, but Katie never uses those moments to promote herself. She just lives her life and lets Suri grow up in peace. Now that Suri is 18, people are wondering what's next. Will she speak out? Will she share her truth about what it was like growing up in the middle of one of Hollywood's most mysterious families? So far, she's remained mostly silent. But the timing seems right. With adulthood comes freedom, and the ability to finally address the rumors and the questions that have surrounded her for so long. Some say she might pursue a career in the arts. She's shown interest in Broadway, dance, and fashion. Others wonder if she'll completely avoid fame and choose a quiet life. Either way, one thing is clear. Suri is not just Tom Cruise's daughter anymore. She's her own person, shaped by years of love, protection, and strength from her mother. Her story is still being written, but she's no longer a child being pulled between two worlds. From a baby born into one of the most watched relationships in Hollywood, to a young woman stepping into her own spotlight, Suri Cruise's life has been anything but ordinary. Her name, her face, and her story have all been part of a larger conversation about family, belief, and freedom. But now, that conversation belongs to her. She has the voice, she has the platform, and for the first time, she has full control over how her story is told. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more untold stories about the world's most talked about people. There's always more than meets the eye, and we'll be here to keep you informed every step of the way.